All right, let's talk about something so many of us feel but almost never say out loud: money paralysis. You know, that feeling of being totally and completely stuck. We're going to dive into what that is, and more importantly, how you can finally break free.
So, does this sound familiar? You know there are bills to pay, a budget to check, a future to save for, but the sheer thought of it all is so massive, so overwhelming that you just stop. You do nothing. If you've been there, trust me, you are not alone. And there's actually a name for that exact feeling. So, first things first, let's give this thing a name, because you can't fight a beast until you know what it's called, right? Putting a label on this stuck feeling is the very first step to taking back your power. What you're experiencing is called financial paralysis. According to financial therapist Ricky L. Rogers, it's that sensation of being completely powerless around your money. It's an emotional wall of fear and anxiety that literally blocks you from making good choices, even when you know exactly what you should be doing.
And look, this isn't just some vague feeling in your head. It has real, tangible consequences. It might start small, like just not opening that credit card statement. But that one little act of avoidance can snowball into some serious debt. No savings for emergencies, and it can even put a huge strain on your relationships.
Okay, now for what might be the most important thing you hear today. If you feel this way, it is not a personal failure. This isn't about you being lazy or irresponsible. There are really deep emotional reasons why this happens. This quote from Ricky Rogers just hits the nail on the head. She says, this whole thing is way more about the emotional side of money than it is about being bad with numbers or not having the right skills. It's about how we feel about money. So where do all these big emotions come from? Well, they can come from anywhere. It could be a past financial trauma, like growing up in a house where money was always tight, or it could be something happening right now, like the constant flood of financial advice on the internet and just the insane number of decisions we're all supposed to be making. It's exhausting. So we've named the beast and we know where it comes from. The big question is, how do we fix it? Well, here's the secret. You don't need some massive, life-altering plan. The whole key to getting unstuck is to simply start small. And before you even touch a single bill or look at a spreadsheet, the real work starts right up here, in your mind. You've got to shift gears. Move away from that inner voice that's full of criticism and shame, and replace it with one that's just a little curious and a lot more compassionate. You have to be kind to yourself through this. Think of this list as your personal toolkit for getting unstuck. These are 6 different strategies you can use, but here's the trick. Don't try to do them all at once. That's just going to lead to more overwhelm. Instead, just pick one, the one that feels like the easiest, most doable thing for whatever problem you want to solve first. Okay, theory time is over. Let's get really practical. We're going to take that whole start small idea and apply it to 3 of the biggest, most common money fears that keep people stuck. First up, the big one, the budget. You get that sinking pit in your stomach just thinking about it. You're terrified you've overspent, so you just avoid looking at it completely, which of course only makes the anxiety 1,000 times worse.
So let's forget about complicated spreadsheets and 5-year plans for now. Your only job for today is this. The moment you get paid, pay your absolute most mandatory bills. Then automate one tiny deposit into a savings account. And finally, go unsubscribe from all those tempting store emails. That's it. Those are your small wins. The big stuff, like asking for a raise, that can all wait for another day.
All right, let's tackle fear number 2, the dreaded pile of bills. It feels so much easier to just shove them in a drawer and pretend they don't exist. But all the while, that stress is just building and building in the back of your mind, isn't it? Here's your simple 4-step action plan. Don't even look at the whole pile. Just pick one bill, whichever one feels the most urgent. Now, find the customer service number and just put a time in your calendar to make the call. When you do, be honest. Tell them you can't pay the full amount right now, and then ask them to help you set up a payment plan. See? You've just turned this giant monster into a manageable conversation. In our third and final fear, putting off those smart money moves. Things like investing for retirement can feel like this exclusive club, and you don't have the secret password. So instead of trying to get in, it just feels safer to not even knock on the door.
Once again, we're going to keep it super simple for today. If your job has a retirement plan, your only goal is to talk to someone in HR about it. That's it. If not, you can go online and open an IRA with what's called a robo-advisor, and some of these let you start with literally just $10. Pick a simple target date fund, and boom, you're done. You've officially started investing.
Do you see what's happening here? It's all about momentum.
Every single one of these small actions you take, every tiny little task you check off your list, it builds your confidence. It proves to you that you can do this, and it makes that next step feel just a little bit easier.
And let's wrap up with one last powerful piece of advice from Ricky Rogers. This process isn't about punishing yourself for past mistakes. It's about celebrating your progress. So when you pay that one bill or you make that one phone call, please take a second to actually acknowledge it. Pat yourself on the back. You are moving forward, and that's a huge deal.
So if you forget everything else we've talked about, I want you to remember this one thing. It all comes down to the number one. Don't try to fix your entire financial life in one afternoon. Just choose one thing. One small, manageable task you can do to get started.
So I'll just leave you with this question. Forget about next week or next month. What is the one small thing you can do today to start breaking that cycle of paralysis and begin moving forward? Whatever it is, you've got this.